Have you ever been told your apology wasn't good enough? Or maybe that your compliment felt, I don't know, a bit fake?
Hmm.
It turns out saying sorry or look great isn't quite as simple as it seems. Welcome to Daily English Practice. Listen and speak.
Glad to be diving in.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into the, well, surprisingly complex world of English for compliments and apologies.
It really is surprisingly complex.
Our mission here is to help you navigate these really important social interactions with more confidence. We'll cover what to say, how to say it, and importantly, why the right words and, your actual intentions
Right.
matter so much.
Exactly. We've pulled together the key insights from our sources to give you a kind of shortcut to getting it right.
These are things we do every day, right? Apologize, compliment people. But they're speech acts, actions we do with words, and they're packed with nuance.
Absolutely. They're full of subtleties that can easily lead to miscommunication. Especially across languages or cultures, we often just take them for granted, but they're incredibly powerful ways to connect or disconnect with others.
And we get them wrong sometimes, don't we? It's fascinating. Okay, so let's start with apologies. Why is apologizing so important beyond just, saying the word?
Well, that's a great place to start because it's so much more than just uttering sorry. Our sources really emphasize that a good apology shows maturity. It shows responsibility.
Right.
It's a fundamental way to mend relationships or even make them stronger after you've hurt someone, whether you meant to or not. And crucially, how you deliver that apology.
Hmm.
That's vital.
It's a delivery. Yeah.
The words are just part of it, the intention underneath, the tone, how you say it, it all matters hugely.
Okay, so what are some typical situations where we actually find ourselves apologizing?
Oh, the reasons are incredibly varied. All sorts of things, really, from minor stuff to, well, bigger deals.
Like being late.
Yeah, exactly. Being late, accidentally breaking something, spilling your coffee on someone's report, oops.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe if you've gossiped or said something a bit rude or impolite. Sometimes it's even for something like having strong breath after lunch. Yeah, garlic.
Oh, definitely been there. Sort of leaning back slightly.
Right. Discreetly breathing the other way. So yeah, even small things might need a quick, oh, sorry about that.
Mm.
But here's something interesting our sources point out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we apologize just to be polite, even if it's clearly someone else's mistake.
How does that work?
Well, like, imagine you're in a restaurant and the waiter brings you the wrong dish.
Mm-hmm.
You might say, oh, I'm sorry, but this isn't what I ordered.
Ah, I see. You're not taking blame, but you're softening the correction.
Precisely. It's a polite way to point out the error without sounding accusatory.
Hmm.
That can be quite a surprise for language learners using sorry when you didn't do anything wrong.
That's a really neat point, this polite apology. It makes you think about other nuances, like what about I'm sorry versus I apologize? Is there a real difference our sources highlight?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really key distinction. I'm
Okay.
sorry is generally less formal. It tends to convey genuine regret.
Mhm.
It sounds more emotional, more empathetic. And it's also what we use for sympathy. Like, I am so sorry to hear about your father's passing. You'd never say, I apologize for your father's passing.
No. Gosh, that would sound terribly cold, wouldn't it? Really robotic.
Exactly. I apologize, on the other hand, is usually more formal. It's a formal admission of wrongdoing, like a statement.
Right.
Yeah. But, and this is the important bit, it doesn't always imply genuine remorse. You can apologize without actually feeling sorry deep down.
Okay. So one feels it, the other just states it.
That's a good way to put it. I'm sorry
Yeah.
carries that feeling of remorse, that emotional weight. I apologize doesn't necessarily, think about official statements, maybe from a company or politician. We apologize for the error. It can sound quite detached.
That is such an important difference to get right. You have to pick your words carefully to match what you actually mean and feel. So, okay, let's talk about expanding our options. What are some other ways to say sorry informally and more formally?
Right. So informally, beyond just sorry, people often use little phrases that kind of demean themselves slightly to show they're sincere, like silly me or, my bad.
My bad is common.
Very common. Or sometimes, if it's a really obvious slip-up among friends, you might even hear, God, I'm so sorry, I'm such an idiot. Though maybe use that one sparingly.
Probably good advice.
Yeah. Often just, oops, I messed up. Works fine. Now, if you're giving a reason informally, the pattern is usually, I'm sorry for, plus the verb ending in ing.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm terribly sorry for sending you 17 messages last night, or
Eh,
I'm sorry for making such a silly mistake. And if you didn't do something, just add not. I'm sorry for not calling you back sooner.
Got it. And what about when things need to be a bit more buttoned up, like at work or in a more serious situation? You definitely wouldn't call yourself an idiot to your boss.
Definitely not. No. For those more formal or professional apologies, I apologize is your go-to,
All
often followed by four like I apologize for the mistake, or you can intensify it, I apologize wholeheartedly. If you need to convey really sincere regret, especially in writing, like an email, please accept my sincerest apologies. Works very well. It sounds very formal and genuinely regretful.
That sounds quite serious.
It is, yeah. Other professional phrases you might use are things like, I regret any frustration or disappointment this situation may have caused, or I want to express my apologies for any disruption. These keep it professional, show you understand the impact, but without getting overly emotional.
So it's more than just the words. It's about showing you genuinely feel bad and that you're taking responsibility. How do you show that effectively?
Well, showing genuine regret is key. You can use phrases like, I feel so ashamed of myself, or I'm really embarrassed about all this. These tell the other person that you understand the gravity that it's affected you too.
Right, so you get it. And taking responsibility.
Crucial, especially if there are real consequences. Phrases like, I take full responsibility are strong. For example, I take full responsibility for the errors in the report. In professional settings, you need to clearly acknowledge the issue and its impact. Something like, I understand that the delay in our project has caused inconvenience for your team.
So you name the problem and the effect it had.
Exactly. And then, crucially, you have to offer a clear, actionable plan to fix it. Don't just say sorry, say what you'll do.
Ah, the solution part.
Yes, like, to make things right, I'm committed to getting the project back on track immediately, or we will implement new checks to prevent similar issues from happening again. Sometimes, especially in business, it might involve compensation. As an apology, we'd like to offer you a 10% discount.
Okay.
And for personal apologies, you might even go further and ask for forgiveness directly, like, please forgive me, or ask them not to hold it against you. Please don't hold a grudge, or please don't bear a grudge.
Okay, so you've crafted this perfect apology. You've delivered it sincerely. Now, flip side, someone apologizes to you. How should you respond?
Good question. For small, everyday apologies, someone bumps into you, they're 5 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
The responses are usually pretty simple and casual. Like,
Okay.
that's okay, no worries, no problem, it's all right. Or even more casually, it's cool, or it's all good. These just smooth things over quickly.
Right, acknowledges it but moves on. What if it's more serious?
If it's a more significant apology and you genuinely accept it and want to move past the issue, you might say, I forgive you. But that's a powerful phrase, usually reserved for bigger things, where forgiveness is really needed.
Okay. And in a professional setting, you need to keep things functional.
Exactly. Professionally, the focus is usually on acknowledging their apology and moving towards a solution.
Mm.
You could say, thank you for acknowledging the situation and taking responsibility.
Mhm.
Or perhaps, I appreciate your apology and I accept it. I'm ready to move forward and work on finding a solution together. That shows you've heard them, accepted the apology, and you're focused on resolution.
So much relies on how you say these things too, doesn't it? The tone of voice, how serious you sound.
Oh, absolutely critical. Your voice and tone carry, well, almost as much meaning as the words sometimes. Think about it, a really heartfelt, I'm so sorry, versus a flat, mumbled, I'm sorry.
Totally different feeling. One sounds like you mean it, the other, maybe not so much.
Exactly. It can even sound sarcastic if you're not careful. So you always need to match the level of your apology to how serious the mistake was. A quick sorry is fine for a tiny bump, but a major mess up, that needs a more elaborate expression of regret, acknowledging the impact, offering that fix, and the delivery has to show you mean it. Sincerity is key.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for apologies. Now let's shift gears to something hopefully a bit happier compliments. But as we kind of hinted at the start, even saying something nice, it's not always straightforward either, is it? So first off, what exactly is a compliment, according to our sources?
Well, like apologies, compliments are a type of speech act, an action we perform using language. Essentially, it's when you explicitly or sometimes implicitly give credit to someone else
Credit for what?
for something positive that you value. Could be their possessions, like their car or clothes. Could be their characteristics, like their kindness or intelligence, or their skills or something they've achieved.
Okay. And the purpose?
The main goal is to express admiration or approval. And really importantly, it's about building or maintaining social connection, that feeling of solidarity. Basically, you're trying to make the other person feel good.
What I found really surprising, though, was how structured English compliments seem to be. You'd think there'd be a million ways to say something nice, but apparently there's a pattern.
It's fascinating, isn't it? English compliments are remarkably consistent. Get this, 85% of compliments follow just three main sentence patterns.
85%. Wow. What are they?
Okay, first you've got a noun phrase like your presentation, followed by is or looks, maybe an intensifier like really, and then an adjective. So your presentation was really great.
Okay, NP is ADJ.
Got it. Second pattern, I plus really like or really love, followed by a noun phrase, like I really like your new haircut.
I like NP. Simple enough.
And the third one uses a pronoun like that or it, followed by is, maybe really, then an adjective and a noun phrase. For instance, that's a really interesting point.
PRO is ADJ NP. Okay, that's amazing. It's like there's this efficient little formula running in the background.
It really is. And it's great news for language learners, right? You master these three basic structures and you're set for most situations. You don't have to guess wildly each time.
Absolutely. And what about the words themselves? Are they just as consistent?
Even more so, in some ways. Just two verbs, like and love, make up 86% of all the verbs used in these complement patterns.
Like and love. That's it. Mostly.
Pretty much. And for adjectives, it's similar. Just 5 adjectives, nice, good, beautiful, pretty, and great, account for about 2/3 of all the adjectives used in compliments.
Nice, good, beautiful, pretty, great. Wow. So a small toolkit covers a lot.
A huge amount, yes.
Yeah.
And interestingly, this holds up online too. In one study, pretty was still used in like 74% of online compliments. And online, of course, you have emoticons.
Yeah, emojis.
They get used a lot to kind of intensify compliments, add a bit of creativity. Sometimes an emoji can be the compliment, like a little picture. It's just, be words. Some have multiple meanings. The fire emoji might mean hot or attractive, not just on fire, literally. Context matters.
Always context. Okay, so we know the basic structure,
Okay.
but how do we make compliments feel really genuine and land well beyond just using the right pattern?
That's a great point. Specificity helps a lot. Instead of just, good job, which is fine, but a bit generic, try something like, I was really impressed by how clearly you explained that complex data in the meeting. It made a real difference. See? Adding that specific detail shows you actually paid attention and valued what they did.
Yeah, that feels much more authentic. It shows you noticed. Okay, what about being on the receiving end? Accepting compliments can be weirdly difficult for people sometimes. What's the best way to react?
It can feel awkward, can it? But honestly, the best approach is often the simplest. Just a sincere thank you. That's usually all that's needed.
It's thank you.
Yeah. If you want to be a bit more gracious, you could add something like, that's so kind of you to say thank you. Or if others deserve credit, share it. Thanks. Actually, Sarah and I worked on that together.
Ah, that's nice, sharing the praise.
It is. And you could acknowledge your own effort without sounding boastful, like, thank you, I did work really hard on it, so it's lovely to hear you appreciate it. And don't forget nonverbal cues, smile, make eye contact, open body language, don't cross your arms.
Good tip. What should we definitely not do when someone compliments us? We've probably all done it.
Oh, for sure. The big one is denying or downplaying it. Oh, this old thing, it's nothing. Or, oh no, my presentation was terrible.
Yeah, why do we do that?
It often comes from modesty, but it can actually diminish the compliment and make the giver feel a bit awkward, like maybe their judgment is off. So try to resist that urge. Just accept it graciously.
Okay, resist the downplay. Anything else to avoid?
Avoid saying, I know, thank you. It can sound quite arrogant, even if you don't mean it to. And if you get a backhanded compliment, the insult wrapped in praise.
Those. You look great for your age.
Exactly. Assess the intention. If they seem genuinely clueless, a simple thank you might be best. If you think they're being deliberately passive-aggressive, maybe just respond to the positive part, thank you for noticing, and ignore the sting. Don't give it oxygen.
Good strategy. This leads nicely into a really important distinction our sources make, the difference between genuine praise and, well, flattery.
Yes, this is crucial, both for giving and receiving compliments. Praise is authentic. It springs from genuine delight or appreciation for something you've truly observed and valued.
So it feels real.
It feels real because it is real. You feel that positive emotion, the admiration, the joy, before you even speak the words. And often you can back it up with specifics because you genuinely notice something.
Okay, so it's spontaneous from the heart. What about flattery then?
Flattery is the opposite. It's insincere, it's artificial, it always has an ulterior motive.
Like trying to get something.
Exactly. Trying to get something, trying to manipulate someone, buttering them up, as the saying goes. Flattery is often vague, lacks those specific details because it's not based on real observation. The only joy the flatterer feels is if they succeed in their goal.
So it's using words as a tool to get something from someone.
Precisely. Our sources say flattery essentially treats the person as a tool, which can make them feel, well, less human. A good way to check your own compliments is to ask yourself, do I feel genuine appreciation before I speak? If yes, it's probably praise. If you're thinking about what you'll gain after you speak, that's leaning towards flattery.
That's a really powerful self-check. Okay, this has been such an insightful deep dive. Both apologies and compliments are these fundamental speech acts that really do shape our interactions and relationships.
They really do. And it's not just the words, is it? It's the intention behind them, the cultural context.
Right. You mentioned culture. How does that play into all this?
Well, language and culture are incredibly intertwined. How we apologize, how we compliment, how we respond, it's all influenced by cultural norms. While some basic ideas might be universal, the specific strategies can differ a lot.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Like traditionally in some East Asian cultures, like Chinese culture, rejecting a compliment was the expected way to show modesty. Saying, oh no, not at all, was the polite response.
Whereas in, say, American culture, accepting with thank you is more standard.
Exactly. But what's interesting is how this adapts. Studies looking at online interactions, like on Instagram, show that Chinese users often adapt when interacting with, say, American English speakers. They might start accepting compliments more readily, or even use intensified praise common in English, like calling someone queen, to kind of fit in and maintain smooth communication.
Fascinating. So understanding these differences is really key.
It's vital. It helps avoid misunderstandings, especially for second language learners trying to navigate a new social environment. It helps you understand why someone might react differently than you expect.
So as we wrap up, here's something for you, our listeners, to think about. The next time you give or receive an apology or give or receive a compliment, pause for a second. Were your words and your intentions truly aligned? And how might understanding these subtle linguistic and cultural dynamics we've talked about today change how you approach that next everyday interaction, maybe making it just a little bit more meaningful?